In this video, we're going to introduce you the concept of ellipse, right? What is ellipse? Ellipse. So for the, let's introduce you the standard equation of an ellipse. Then you have x minus h square over with a square plus with y minus k square over with b square equates to 1. Right, this will be the standard equation of the ellipse. Where a and b have different values, okay, so they are not one to one. So if you can prove that an equation is in this form, this is a equation that represents a standard equation for an ellipse, means that it will be an ellipse geometrically. So for these cases here, if I will write x minus h square over with a square, right? A square. If let's say if I write over with a square, this one means that the major axis, okay, we have ellipse with a major axis which is horizontal, means that the major axis is horizontal to horizontal, or we can say that it's a horizontal major axis. In all my lesson, I will using with, let's say, under the x minus h square here, under here it will be a square, the a here, then we can say that this is a horizontal major axis, with the a square is greater than the b square. Always have a square greater than b square, means that the value here will be bigger than the value here. Then the ellipse will have a horizontal major axis. Along the horizontal major axis, it always have a vertex, right? It will have two vertices, right? So with the center, center will divide this major axis into two equal, right? We say that this will be the midpoint between the two vertices, and also the midpoint between the two foci, right? So we have this is the vertex, and this is the foci, and this will be the center, and this will be your horizontal major axis. And the length from the vertex to the center is always represented by a. So vertex to the center is always represented by a, and the length from the focus to the center will be c, the focal length, right, which will be c. And b, this will be the minor axis, alright, the minor axis, the b. Alright, so I've introduced you. You have vertex, focus, and a center, and this is horizontal major axis. The major means that the bigger one, okay? This is minor axis, this is major axis, or we can say that the major axis is parallel. So when this is horizontal means what? It's like parallel to the x-axis, right? Parallel to x-axis. So either they are saying that horizontal major axis, or we said major axis is parallel to the x-axis. So with the focal length defined to be a square minus b square, alright, which you can look at the derivation that I derived for the formula of standard equation of a ellipse. So c square will be always a square minus b square. This is the case where the x minus h square over a square plus y minus k square over b square equals to 1, where the a square is below the x minus h square, right? So different books have different way of explaining ellipse. So in my video, I will standard such that if this is the horizontal major axis, under the x will be a square. So if you have x minus h square over with b square, now we have y minus k square over with a square. The difference between these two is I represent the y below the y is a square, and below the x minus h is a b square. So, and this is also an ellipse. So it's a standard equation of ellipse. And remember, a square is always greater than b square. A square is always greater than b square. So in this case means that the a square below the y is a square is greater than b square. The value here is bigger. So then the ellipse will be look like this way. It will be vertically major axis. Vertical major axis means that we said that vertical major axis. What it means by vertical major axis means the vertical axis will be longer, right? Will be longer. Or we said that the major axis is parallel. Parallel. So if you see that this is vertical, right? Parallel to the y-axis. It's parallel to the y-axis. So if this is your major axis, remember the vertex is always on the major axis. The vertex, focus, the vertices, the foci, right? And center always on the major axis, right? So for both case here, okay, for this case here and also this cases here, all right? Sorry, for this case and also this case. So, and the vertex, and this will be your center, and of course this will be your focus, right? Will be your focus. Same thing here. This will be the length of the focus, which is represented by C, and this is the length of the major axis, right? A, the length of major is A plus A, 2A, right? 2A. So, and this will be B, the length of B. So, with this knowledge, I'm going to teach you. Okay, I have tell you that if let's say the value of A, the value below the x minus h square is bigger than the value here, and that one will be the A square, and this will, the smaller value will be B square, and this show you that it's a horizontal major axis. If the value of below the y minus k square is bigger than the value of value under the x minus h square, which is b square, the value is bigger, and this will be your a square, right? And this will be a vertical major axis, right? So orders, we say that the major axis is parallel to the y-axis here. So all right, so in this video I introduce you about the way we look at the ellipse, and the formula for c square is also the same. It's always a square minus b square, right? So for this video I introduce you so what we need to identify, what we should do when we have a standard equation, and how to sketching the graph. All right, identify all the vertex, the focus. All right, so in the next video I'm going to teach you the technique of sketching the graph of ellipse, and identify all the vertex, the focus and center. All right, okay, let's go for the next video.